Hi, welcome to our weekly Take 5 from Christchurch St. James Etobicoke. Today, kind of like I'm almost in a closet at Christchurch St. James Etobicoke because there's so much going on in the building. We're anticipating welcoming perhaps 250 to 300 people for our food bank ministry here today. So I'm just getting out of the way for a few minutes to share with you something wonderful from God's Word and then reflected in song. And what's kind of got a grip on me right now and won't let me go, I'm so thankful, is from Ephesians chapter 3, where Paul prays this for this little community, a community of people who became a praying people, became a praising people, desired to be a pure people, to live differently than others might, to be an empowered people. So they weren't just living differently because they were, doing their best, but because God was doing life with them. And as a result of that, became a persecuted people. And we know the story. We know the history of first century Christians in Rome and 21st century Christians all over the world, actually. But this is how Paul prayed, that from God's glorious, unlimited resources, that God would empower them with inner strength through his Spirit. And he goes on to say, I don't want to leave it there. This is what he goes on to say. Then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. And your roots will grow down deep into God's love, and that'll keep you strong. And Paul says, I pray that you may have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide and how long and high and deep his love is. And then he says, may you experience the love of Christ, though it's too great for us to understand fully. That's just the way it is, an ocean. And then you will be made complete with all the fullness of life and power that comes from God, Ephesians chapter 3. So they're just on the shoreline of Vancouver Island, looking over at the strait and the mountains, and just appreciating the difference that Jesus has made and wants to make, not just in my life, but in all of our lives. And these words were an attempt to capture that experience. Feeling so warm now, feeling alive, no longer alone now, no need to hide. Scanning the shoreline, new steps in sand, trusting what's now mine to guide my hand. Remembering times before the song, remembering life before the eyes were one, thanking God for what has come, and thanking him for what has gone. Bending the knee now, washed by night rain, finally see now there's such life to gain. Caught by a breeze now, ready to fly, really believe now this can never die. Carrying his words inside my mind, like a bird that's flown to my hands, of a life that's entered mine, like an ocean wave to the sands, like an ocean wave to the sands. So it's a great way to pray, isn't it? It's an amazing life to live. It's a wonderful God to know. His name is Jesus. And the very thought that Jesus wants to make his home in your life, to be at home in our lives, that changes everything. I know some will just scoff. Okay. But he's standing at the door and waiting, even waiting at the door of those who might scoff, ever so patiently, able to take it, refusing to give up on anyone, even if a person chooses to close their eyes and put fingers in their ears. Jesus, he can't help but love you. And I pray that love will make a huge difference and will melt our hearts and change how we do life and how we treat others. The world needs it desperately. God bless you deeply. Thanks so much for joining us today.